Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Marcus Lopez. I'm here representing the Chumash Intertribal Singers. We're going to share some space with you today. My dad's Marcus Lopez Sr. is going around with some sage to bless this space. We're going to sing some songs and hope you all enjoy it. My family's here from this area, Santa Barbara. We are maritime people, paddle to our islands every year. We've been doing this tradition for many years, and my little young homie right here, Dakota, loves our island songs. So right here, you see Santa Barbara right here by the beach, in view of the islands. We'll sing some island songs for you all. We want to take this opportunity to say those people of this land are here. We want to say that the ancestors, our ancestors that are from here, that we honor them. We honor also, in 4 directions, our ancestors from the south of us, Abayala South. We want to also recognize our ancestors up north, what we call now Canada. We want to also recognize our ancestors from the east, and also our canoe families in the Pacific Ocean, all the way to the Maoris, people within the Marshall Islands, Philippines, Indonesia, Hawaii, Kanaka Maui brothers, the people within Asia, the indigenous people from that continent, and the people from indigenous people from Africa. We visited each other before the invasion. We want to honor that contact. We want to also contact, we had contact with Europe before it wasn't even called Europe. And because of that, we're one people living on this planet of ours.
And the religions of the world need to understand that and come together. And the organized religions of the world need to understand that and come together. You're studying here in El Centro. And remember those ancestors, the young people, now they're old, like me, that created a movement here on this campus. Whether it be the burning of the bank, the Thorough Coalition, the national liberation struggles and the solidarity movements that these Mexicano Chicano students, indigenous students, celebrated and connected to. Let's not forget about that. That it's just not us here, but our ancestors and the people that are still living throughout the continent of ours, of Ayala North. And these, my brothers and sisters, are the prayer. One, that prayer of our remembering our past and respecting the present, and of looking forward for the future for a new change in the world. These young students now are studying what that new change in the world is. We don't have a name for it, but it's a new change in the world. Just like when this center started, the new visions of the world, the vision of who do we are and who do we want to become. Whether Earth Mother, with our family, our Earth, that female spirit that's been assaulted since the invasion, and now we are speaking out to defend that woman's spirit. They're speaking out, and we have to remind ourselves what that is and respect it, of that new female energy and energy of our past, present, and future, that sacred energy of our Earth Mother and our mothers, abuelitas, our tias, our aunts, our grandmothers, who they are, who there once was. I want to say also acknowledge the adelitas of the movement today, you know, and they are many, and they are growing, and the effort of many of the leaders here, I acknowledge you all. And the old timers and the not so old give you that spirit and that strength of being healthy, to remain healthy, to remind the younger people of what the struggle was, and it will continue, unfortunately. So the prayer is how we come together and celebrate and remember who we are. Remember this place for many Chumash people. This used to be a fishing area. It used to be our main villages right over here in Hilo. And there's many areas that disturb. And many of the people say it's okay to disturb them. It's not okay to disturb them in any form or fashion. But we are here celebrating your lives, each other. And these songs are that celebration, ancient songs, real old songs that we make alive. Old songs that are even older than me. Old songs that my friends, my people that I have in the past, when they told me it's about nature. It's about how we need to work with nature, how we need to work with the Earth Mother, with the spirits, the water spirit. When they were talking about standing rocks, water was life, we were talking about that since the invasion. And we'll still talk about that, about our water and the right to be clear and clean. That's the next commodity in the next fight, regardless of what the wars are. And our prayers for the people in the Middle East that gets assaulted because of the war machine from all the different nation states. They are suffering tremendously, our Palestinian brothers and sisters. And we pray for them and they pray for their steadfastness, their strength. We pray for the people that even are killing them to stop killing them. Stop hurting them. Because it hurt us. And we also pray for all the nation states to come to the realization that a peaceful world is a world which everyone wants. The songs are ancient songs, but for the future. The prayer is, regardless if you're indigenous or not, to come together and live together. My father, Victor Oliver Lopez, said he used to take a marble and he used to raise it. And he says, that's the world we live in. We have to learn to live together. You being on campus and you're studying very important issues, regardless what the discipline is, as the Maori leadership talking about decolonizing methodology talks about one thing, and that is how do we respect each other? How do we talk about colonies and conquest and empire? And the new world today is a world that's ever changing. The new world today is creating, like my Zapatista friend, creating a world that all exists. Creating a world where all can live together. That's the prayer. And I say these things because you may want to have something in the native language. You may want something traditional. It'll take about 4 days. But yet this is a message from the Hopi leadership, from the Hopi prophecy, to the Lakota fighters that were beginning at Standing Rock, to the people on the northwest, the people in the northeast, the people within the south, the Puerto Rican people, people in the Caribbean, and all those areas, people in Mexico, Central America, and South, Abayala North and Abayala South, to live together, to be together. And your studying are going to find answers. And we celebrate because of that. This center is to celebrate the new vision of the world that we're going to live in. And that vision to break up and to break the myth of the empire, to break the master narrative of the empire. And we define what that narrative is. And we define who is that going to be our speakers. And we define where that discussion will take place. And I'm happy to see and to be here and give you that prayer, that message, and these songs, these ancient songs that belong to the earth and the trees that were put upon this ocean of ours that we're right next to. So, those are only a few words, but I want to say that prayer in English so everybody understands where we are singing from, where we come from, to work together, to live together, to celebrate together. And I congratulate all you young people and not so young people, the officials, and the grassroots, as they call them, for putting so much time into making sure that this is your stronghold. Keep it strong. This is your stronghold. Make it wise. This is your stronghold. Make those connections where you need to connect. And how we can help together who we are in this place called UCSB. But this place we call Hutash. In this place we call Hilo. Because this is the village where it all started. And this will be the village that will all end. You know what?
Oh,
Thank you, everyone.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yaneli Gutierrez, and first of all, I want to thank everyone for coming, and I want to thank you so much for the beautiful blessing and your words. I want to thank sure, okay. Thanks, everyone, for coming to see the culmination of all of the work done, mostly by students, but also with help of the administration. I can't even explain how much sweat and tears went into this and how much work went into this. I want to start off by acknowledging William Villa and Yolanda Garcia for the founding of the building. Thank you. And also the student leaders that helped in the renovation. This process was so taxing, because apart from being students, we got notice of an eviction telling us we had to leave, and they were gonna tumble the building down, and we were just confused and stressed and just angered. And we just thank you to all the students who sacrificed their academic careers and stuff to look into California legal building code and the bylaws of schools and all the work that we shouldn't have had to do. And so I just want to sort of emphasize how much work this was. And so I want to thank Cecilia Sanchez, Damaris Adame, Daniela Hernandez Medina, Lorena Alvarez, Dulcinea Arroyo, Ricardo Mata, Fabian Pavon, Estefany Panduro, Jessica Fernandez, Gabby Cortez, and Sharyar Muraj. And I just want to give a special shout out to Sharyar, because the end of the planning phase was so just burdensome, because it was work that was necessary that had to be done, but it was what molding do we choose? What handles do we want? And it was necessary work, but Sharyar stuck it through and just did an amazing amount of work. And so I want to thank him. And then, do you wanna do these?
Are we introducing? We're giving that too?
I'm just thinking.
Hi everyone. My name is Lorena. It's amazing. I 4 years ago, I never thought it would come to this. I thought the space was perfect as it was, but obviously it needed work. 2 years ago, we didn't even have water in the space. So yeah, 2 years ago it was it started the work. That work started before I was even here, and then they didn't even get to see the hydration station that we have now. And so it's amazing how just little things like that were so necessary in the space. And now we have a kitchen, so it's great. Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. And so we wanted to thank all the folks that helped make this a possibility, make this a reality. And so we wanted to thank the following folks, and then Yaneli will present you with a gift of gratitude from the students and an EOP and just future generations thanking you for the work that you've done to make this space possible. So Ernest Cap, Tom Lawton, and the Student Information Systems and Technology. He was the network architect Vince Leo, and the help desk technician. So from PMSM Architects. Rosa came at the most beautiful time. We were literally we had qualifications for the type of person we wanted, and she basically fit everything. Badass woman who was an architect, and so we want to really thank Rosa Alvarado for existing. So thank you. We also want to thank Quincon Incorporated, Al Segura and his team. They were here every day alongside us while we were studying, but they were here like building it. So if they're here, Al, he didn't come. I'm sad. It's okay. Okay, okay, good. Division of Student Affairs, Margaret Claun and Lupe Garcia Navarro. Thank y'all so much. From the very beginning to now, this wouldn't have been a possibility without your support. Yeah, and I think, yes, I don't know. There's one, how many are left? Yeah, just give it to her. We also want, this person, yeah, I'll hug you. This next person has been here even before the hunger strikes and has been literally like one of like the biggest support systems we have on the as Congreso, as the Centro community, and she's not only a support like for us but other students as well. She's the head of the Associated Students, and honestly, her work here is amazing. So we really want to thank Marisela Marquez. We love you.
I also want to thank her. I need to throw in my, but Marisela, we have so little people just historically in the administration that students trust because of this institution and what it does. And Marisela she has one of the only people we've seen that has student interests at heart, and one of the people that just gives us hope in this institution. So thank you so much, Marisela.
So I have a funny story about this next person. We were all in El Centro chilling as usual, and he comes into the space and just starts jumping up and down. We were like, okay, Chancellor. And so yeah, he's a structural engineer, and basically his word was that like the building was fine and that it had the bones to stay standing. And so without his like knowledge as a structural engineer and just his presence and ensuring that it was going to be rebuilt, like this wouldn't have happened. So Chancellor Yang, yeah, we wanted to present you. And so these next folks that we want to thank, it was really sad when I came to UCSB for the first time my first year, and my sister had told me that at one point, EOP used to be here, and Upward Bound, and just a lot of entities used to be within here, and so it was just students, and it was just really sad, because like we felt kind of like forgotten in a way, but fortunately we were able to finally get counselors here, 2 EOP counselors. We have Ozzy and Xiomara residing within El Centro now, and so we're really excited to rebuild that connection, to start making programs, because it's so important. We just felt forgotten, and so now I feel like we're rebuilding that relationship we used to have. So we want to thank EOP, Aaron Jones, Patricia Garcia, Xiomara Lopez, Ozzy Espinosa, Joni Lang, and your help throughout the whole process. So thank you. And then, and so one of the main things we wanted to keep was the mural that was just absolute. Like, we cannot have this without the mural. And so luckily we were able to have, if you've seen it already, the mural is in there. And so that's what basically helped make the space what it was. And we wanted to thank all the artists that helped basically renovate it and make it finish it essentially too. And so we want to thank Jordi Alvarez, Elisa Saldana, Amani Rodriguez, Maricruz Mendoza, Mimi Pham, Henan, and Ricardo Mata Vasquez for helping us out and finishing the mural. I guess, yeah.
Like Lorena was saying, we would hear stories about how El Centro used to house all these different departments, and it was really a collaborative sort of thing. And so we want to thank Britt Ortiz, director of EAOP, because that's one of the organizations that is now housed in the second floor. Before it was electrical engineering, we didn't have access to the second floor at all, and so now with EAOP there, we that's a relationship that we're also building. So we want to thank you for coming to the floor. And then something that being students of color on this campus can be really, really tough at times, especially when you have a cause and you feel ignored and you just feel misrepresented. It's a really, really big struggle, and so it was really important to us because a lot of times it's students taking on the emotional labor of sort of making where all each other is okay. And so we would like to thank Dr. Jessica Adams from CAPS. They brought Dr. Jessica Adams in, and we met her, and she's just amazing. And we think that it would be really, 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 it's a really beneficial also relationship as well, that students can feel like they have someone to go to. So that's really, really going to be special. So thank you. And then Ozzy Espinosa and Xiomara Lopez have just been so wonderful, have just been a really, really big part of this whole process and just wonderful. And for the students, there's someone else that we could go to. Having EOP here is really important to us too, because they're a really, really, really big source of support that I think is really important and we all feel is really important and we really appreciate you guys. We also want to thank the custodial workers who their services go unsung, who are the backbone of this building, and keeping it so that students can use it, and thank you so much. We really appreciate y'all. And then lastly, as Mr. Lopez said in his blessing, the struggles of all of our struggles are interconnected, and we're fighting against the same thing. And so we want to thank all of the orgs housed at El Centro, like El Congreso, La Escuelita, Los Curanderos, Los Ingenieros, Mujer, Latino Business Association, Students for Justice in Palestine, La Familia de Colores, Chicanx Latinx Graduation Committee, Ideas, Cultural Arts Committee, and Voceros de UCSB. Thank you so much for being a part of El Centro. You make it what it is.
And so up next, we have a couple speakers for y'all that have taken part in the process, that are going to talk a little bit about the history and the impact and what we have in store for the future. So we have the first speaker, Marisela Marquez.
First, a round of applause for the students. We have to give it up. First thing. Another one, louder. Another one, louder. I'm not that good at cheerleading, but got to do it. I think one of the things that I wanted to share with you all, it's actually it's actually quite a privilege to be in front of you all, and quite a privilege to be pretty much any day at El Centro. It's always been a privilege. So I thought I'd start off by sharing with you all something I call El Centro by heart. Long ago, and you can tell by the gray hair, it was really a long time ago, I attended a Chicano Studies lecture in my role as a teaching assistant. And the lecturer that day, a faculty member, actually shared a story and a lecture. Amongst many elements was a narrative about memory. And the narrative of what memory, where memory comes from and where memory goes. And one of the main narrative elements was, she was encapsulating it by saying, you know, there's this saying said that goes something like, you know, you learn something by heart, right? And as you all probably know, learning something by heart means that you memorize it. You don't have to keep referring to it. You don't have to look. You don't have to Google it. You just know something by heart, right? It's yours. When you essentially change that into Spanish, essentially it changes the meaning entirely. And many times you can essentially translate something, but it doesn't capture the meaning of it. In this case, you might very well say that it's memorization and so on. But if you literally translate that phrase, so you actually say me acuerdo de corazón, right? If you literally translate it, it's my heart remembers, and that is what El Centro is and has always been. You remember it by heart the first day you come into this space. My heart remembers the first time I came into this space, because I had been on this campus for 3 years in 1988 and only entered it because there was a strike going on for the ethnic studies requirement. And I came into this space as a graduate student who had been actually just across the lawn in Ellison for 3 years, and the library, but I'd never been here. I'd never known to stop in, right? And so I stepped in, and it was the first time I had exhaled in 3 years. And you might think, like, come on, Marisela, you didn't exhale for 3 years? Yeah, really, I did not exhale for 3 years until I walked into this space. And if it's the first time that you've ever been here, when you walk in, you will know what I mean. I've had the privilege of walking into this space as a graduate student, and the best that I can do for you today is to share with you at least some memories about what I've seen students, faculty, and staff, but most primarily students, accomplish in this space. I've watched them sit next to each other, unknowing each other, sharing a contentious moment somewhere on this campus where their culture has either been ridiculed, mocked, or ignored entirely. And they'll turn to each other in this space, and they find someone else that has shared a similar moment elsewhere. And they'll turn to each other, and they find a way of either speaking out about it and changing it, or sit in shock long enough to kind of begin to recover, or they'll delve into each other's cultura and family and begin to heal. And that is primarily, literally, from 1988 to the present, is what I've seen. And anyone, there are lots of alumni in this gathering. I think most people can attest to those moments, that they're not manufactured and you can't really reproduce them. So I can just bottom line it for you. That's what I see. I've witnessed students organize the first Raza College Day, and next weekend is going to be what year of Raza College Days? 26 years. 26 years. I watched them negotiate and sell M&Ms in the early years, to actually create the first Raza College Day, up until now, where they've consistently created it and recreated it year after year, where high schoolers are brought and middle schoolers are brought to campus, and the campus is transformed into Raza College Day for that one day. And it was so powerful the very first time that they did it, that they've done it for 26 consecutive years. Just think about what you were doing 26 years ago. I don't think I've done anything consecutively for 26 years. I certainly have not put on a program of this scale for 26 years. I've also witnessed students negotiate across many differences from the 1994 hunger strike to the last 15 months. And when they say that it costs a lot, it does cost a lot of time for students to spend time learning and doing and executing. And it is not easy to be the only lone wolf voice in any crowd, but it is particularly hard to be in a minority of a minority of a minority and then have to explain like building codes. Like, that was hard. And for the last 15 months, that's exactly what students have done. They actually embarked on a renaissance for a space that has literally helped change the face of California, because in making this building accessible in the way it is, we are honoring the public nature of this campus, of this system, and executing it in a modern way, in a different way. And under the administration of our chancellor, that stability has made all the difference over these years. Demographics for the Chicano Latino community have gone from 12% maybe when I got here to now, which is over 25% of the campus. So that is huge. I think the generations of students that have dedicated to bring families and children onto this campus, to bring folks and conduct outreach programs, have made all the difference to that. And El Centro has retained them. And the programming on this campus has retained those generations. So with all that, I want to just simply say that I think over time there is I am extremely grateful for the students' work, because without it we wouldn't be standing here for sure. But it is known that the next generation of students are right behind you, and they're taking it to heart as well. So for you.
So up next we have an alumni. She's probably one of the most powerful human beings I've ever met in my life. And I'm gonna cry. No, I'm not gonna cry. Okay. And I love her so much, and I can't wait to hear her speech. Damarisa Dame.
Hello. Hello? Okay. Sorry. Okay. My speech begins, hello everyone. I want to sincerely welcome y'all to this space I have called my home and heart for the past several years. My name is Damaris. I am an alumna from 2017. I worked with El Congreso en Mujer and was one of the students that led the negotiations for the rebuilding process in the El Centro committee. As an alum, I felt a little hesitant walking into the space, into the new building with its new crisp, clean ceiling, the functional windows, and what feels like the most luxurious kitchen in all of the world. I was hesitant because after graduation, you move out of the college bubble and everything starts to feel so removed. January 9th, 2017, the day that we were issued the eviction, feels more like decades ago than just last year. But it was just last year when we as students were told that the temporary building 406 was essentially condemned and our immediate evacuation was necessary. What we were being asked to abandon was not just the safety we created within these four walls. We were asked to remove the art, the decades of posters, murals, designs, marking student protests and struggles that were born and grew out of this space. As students, we carried the history of the roots of the Chicano movement in Mecha, the hunger strikes of 88 and 94, all of these and so much more should have felt like an immense pressure to uphold. But the strengths of these movements actually uplifted us. And you know, we didn't always feel it. Trust me, the nights where the El Centro committee would sit and argue and plan until 4 in the morning in preparation for the next day's afternoon meeting with admin, we weren't always thinking of the past. Still, the energies cultivated in El Centro carried us through it all the same. No matter how many times you piece together, renovate, rebuild, restructure, repaint this building, the spirit and energy will always be here to give the generations to come strength to push forward, strength to continue building community, strength to fight against the systems tearing us down, strength to just finish this paper, strength to even graduate. Because after all, we are students. El Centro was saved by students and for the students. Students, thank you. Take my glasses off, that made me nervous. Students fought, carrying so much history into the future for generations to come. When the institution failed us, no staff, faculty, or administration would listen to us. The students forced them. For 1 year and 4 months to this day, students fought and will continue to fight for El Centro, for its energy and the legacy that never allows us to stop looking to the future and to the community around us. This is what students have done. Students handpicked everything that you can see in there. We made the decisions for everything from the color of the carpet to the light fixtures in the ceiling. We honestly never thought this day would come. We were so ready to chain ourselves to the building before seeing it torn down that we couldn't at the time envision this day right here, where the doors would open once again. As we students fought for everything, down to the smallest nail holding it all together. And generations in the future will not forget that. They will not forget the power and the strength of the student movements El Centro houses. I may have graduated, but El Centro will always be home to me, and all of the battles fought here have left their mark. As long as students continue to fight and change the course of history at UCSB, El Centro will be here. Students will make damn sure of that too. And just like the alumni did before me, when we were caught and didn't know how to approach the eviction process, they came back. Alumni who hadn't been to El Centro in years rallied in support for us, for the students. That's the legacy of El Centro. Students move through this space in what seems like an instant, but El Centro remains in the heart forever, just like Marisela said. We will always protect it.
For the next speaker, I would like to introduce. So a big part of the negotiations was, in our view, was the administration waiting for summer to come, because there was that summer deadline where everybody would leave, people would graduate, and then they could basically do whatever they want. So I really want to thank Cecilia Sanchez, as well as our next speaker, for holding it down during the summer and not letting that happen. So Sharyar Muraj.
Hello? Is this, I kind of have to like, is this, okay, all right. Is this good? Okay. Thanks everyone for coming. This is such like just an amazing thing to see. I had no idea that we'd ever get here. And so just to see everyone come together like this is amazing. I didn't write anything. I was hoping something would hit me when I got up here, and it hasn't. So I guess I'm just going to try and just talk to you about what El Centro is for me, at least. So I moved around a lot as a kid. I moved through different schools every 2 or 3 years. And growing up, what that meant for me was that I tried to not get close to people just because they would be out of my life in an instant. And so my thought process was always, just kind of keep your head down, kind of move through things and ignore the things around you, because it's not going to be the same tomorrow. And when I first came to UCSB in the first week, I had that same mentality. I was going to come in here, I was going to get my degree, and I was going to leave, and that was going to be it. and during week of welcome, I was walking by, and basically this girl jumped out of the table. My friend Anamita, she just literally jumped up from under a table and went, "Want to know how your student fees go to kill Palestinian children?" And that was the first thing I heard at UCSB. And as a person who's not that social, who's not that good at confrontation, I just kind of just took a step back and didn't really know what to say. And she made me come out here. She made me come to an SJP meeting in El Centro. And this was the first place that I wanted to stay in, the first place where I got here. And I immediately felt welcome. And I immediately felt like I wanted to be with the people here. And I can never express how amazing it is to see that kind of community, that kind of support that I had with every single person that I met in this building. And so when we got the eviction notice and things like that, for me, it was kind of like losing the place that I'd called home out here. And I was so afraid of losing basically what was my anchor here. And then, so I couldn't let it go. I couldn't. And just seeing everyone come together to do that brought me so much strength and so much drive that when summer came around and I saw the building, basically, they had to like basically gut the building at the beginning. And when that happened, I just saw El Centro just bare with no foundation, barely, basically like sticks holding it up. And my first thought was, oh my God, everyone's gonna come back and I'm gonna have to tell them it's gone. Oh no. But like, we kind of stuck it out. Cecilia was here, Lorena was here, and we kind of just kept pushing, and bit by bit we saw it build up and people started coming back, and we saw the space kind of rebuild itself and become totally new, but somehow still have the same spirit, the same traditions, the same culture as it had for all those years before. And I think that's just a testament to the foundation that the alumni that you left for us, the spirit of the students here now, and the fact that it doesn't matter what happens in the future, because the students here will make sure that El Centro is here, the students here will make sure that we fight for what's right. And no matter what happens, we're not going anywhere. And I want to say thank you for not going anywhere, because I love you all. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, well, before going on, I would like to recognize the Casillas family that's here right now. The building, oh yes, clap. So the building's full name is El Centro de Arnulfo Casillas, after Arnulfo Casillas, who was a transfer student and was one of the biggest unifying forces here on this campus. El Congreso at the beginning of the Chicano Latino movement, there was, here at UCSB, there was, they had to decide whether to call it Mecha or La Raza Libre, because they didn't want to be exclusive of people who weren't Chicanx identifying. And so Arnulfo Casillas was one of the people that sort of made El Congreso happen. That was sort of let's put aside our differences and see that we have a unifying goal. And so the Casillas family was a really, really big part of why this building wasn't torn down, pressuring the chancellor to sort of know what was happening. And we just really, really want to thank y'all. Can y'all raise your hands? Thank you so much.
And so, as per usual, I forgot to do something. Chancellor, are you still here? Hi, Henry. We wanted to offer you a sweater for gratitude. It's a Centro sweater. If you want to come up.
We want to thank Crucito, who made the sweatshirt and also has a number of El Centro t-shirts out in the front desk. And so after, people can go up and see, there's spaces to, he donated shirts, so there's a space to donate if you want to donate time, money to future Sur el Centro. Yeah. But at this point, we want to open up the mic to you all. If you have any special experiences that you want to.
Hello, my name's Arturo Casillas, and I came from over there, not here, right? I'm an alumni from 1976, okay? And at that time, there were like 5 of us from my family attending UCSB. It was my sister Delia Casillas right here, Smith. Her husband Phil's with her. It was my sister Graciela Casillas right here. And my brother Jaime Casillas wanted to come but was not able to make it, but his son Armando's here. Where are you at, Armando? Can you raise your hand? Up there, up there. Okay, that's Jaime's son. And then my youngest brother Adam is right here with his wife Debbie. Okay. So we were really happy to hear about this event. And Suraya's right here, my brother Robert's daughter. Yeah, her father also graduated from UCSB and is an alumni of El Congreso. And Diego, my brother's grandson. I hope my wife Mary's in the back here. Can you raise your hand, Mary? There she is. So, did I miss Irma? My sister Irma's here. She's not an alumni. And Selena, Graciela's daughter, my niece, is here. She may be an alumni someday. Okay. But I don't want to, I know you've had a lot of speeches, and I only want to say a few words. I started making some notes of what my brother Arnulfo represented. I ended up with 3 pages, and it's too much to go into right now. I did pull out a few points, and what I can tell you is that Arnulfo's identity was molded by his experience in Vietnam. He was shot in Vietnam. His friends were killed. He quickly saw that it was an immoral war and corrupt business, eventually what we called the military-industrial complex at the time. And he came back and organized Veterans Against the War. He had us march from Ventura to Los Angeles in the march to join MacArthur Park on, I forget the year, but it was in the 70s and it was against the war. So that brought an intensity to Arnulfo that he brought to his community work. And when he came to UCSB, there were like 3 factions of Chicano students. There was the Raza Libre, which considered itself to be third world and progressive, and there was Mecha, which considered itself to be nationalistic. And Arnulfo considered himself a Chicano. He thought the first thing that people should know was their heritage and their roots, and he called it a healthy reaction in the face of oppression, is to assert who you are in terms of your heritage and your history and your people. And beyond after that, he was a universalist because he worked with everyone. We worked with a group called Students for Collective Action. We took over the computer center here in the 70s. We got arrested. We used to take over the administration about once a month. And I'm not advocating that, Chancellor. I'm just giving some historical things. And he advocated for Chicano studies, ethnic studies, alternative newspaper. We got all. I think all those things happened eventually. There were other things that he was involved with. He was founder of what was called the Leticia Aid Network, and that was a predecessor of the Dreamers now. He was one of the early pioneers that supported undocumented students having the right to study and to prosper. And even beyond that, if you didn't have documentation but you paid taxes, we always thought you were entitled to all the rights and privileges and whatnot. True to his origin of being against the Vietnam War, he was co-chairperson of the Chicano Moratorium around 1990 in Los Angeles. And at that time, there was the Iraq War was brewing, and there were a lot of parallel issues to the 70s and in the 90s and today. So he was very relevant in what he stood for. And the slogan here, keeping the doors open for those yet to come, he took that to heart. He knew that other people had sacrificed in order for him to be here, and he knew that we all have an obligation, a moral obligation, to give back to the community, but not just to give back, but to take the time to strategize and organize and get prepared so that we can be effective, because the enemy is formidable. And so that's what Arnulfo stood for. And he would be very proud of the congresistas today and everyone here. And we're very, very, very happy that this event is taking place. And I thank you all.
It is my honor, me and my wife and Dylan, we are here today to join this restoration ceremony for the open house of El Centro Arnulfo Casillas. I thought I just have a lot of thoughts about this for a long time, so let me just reminisce. The first time I know about this building was when I talked to Maricela Marquez. I said, where do we, I see a lot of people on campus, but I said, where do we find the students? She said, if you go to building 406, you'll see some students there. So then I came. I remember the first time I came. The person I met was Abel Gutierrez, your uncle, Yaneli. And at that time, he was the president of El Congreso. And then I forgot his predecessor or another president, Omar Flores. Then I also saw Salvador Barajas. I don't know if you know these names. They actually made some mark during the time. They were all the succeeding presidents of El Congreso. I think our vice chancellor for student affairs during that time, Michael Young, and the dean of student, Yoni Harris. You must remember all these names I mentioned, Michael. Can we welcome Michael here, right there, and Yoni Harris. But by the way, we have a very important person here I would also like to recognize. Is our Congressman Sayu Cabajal, right there. Would you raise it? Why don't you? Yeah, he's a U.S. Congressman, very strong advocate for us, and also he's a graduate from our school. And so at the time I came and I met them. And then I have since then have come in to visit this place from time to time. At that time, we have 12% of Chicano Latino students, 12% of the total of enrollment. But it will take more than twice, to become a Hispanic serving institutions. So it took us a long time. And recently, I'll give you another quick story, is that our English department realized that as an official Hispanic serving institutions has long been committed to the needs of its Latino students. So now, this last year, they interviewed 3 distinguished faculty members. In English department, Sherry Moraga, Ben Ogan, and Chela Herrera Rodriguez. They are all in various American literature in area of Chicano studies. So when they came, I said I think in order to recruit them, attract them from some private college like Stanford or East Coast, those Ivy Leagues, it takes a little recruitment. So I said, why don't I interview them personally? I talked to Enda Duffy, the chairman. So this is just last year while this remodeling was going on. So during the interview, I said, why don't I take you to a very special place? So I took them, each one of them. During the interview, I took them walk into this, see how they react, because I can see if they pass the test. So they came in, they saw at the corner, there's a little table saying, respected death, and remember the past people. He said, this is really the culture. So then I could see the touch in the face, and then I realized these are the real scholars we want to be, because this is place of cultural tradition and history, and also for the students for the future. I think with this little story for you, enough is said. Now we are Hispanic Survey Institution, also thanks to the Congressman, because the Congress does allocate money for Hispanic Survey Institutions. Thank you, Salu. I think I can. I might as well take this opportunity just to acknowledge. Is Bill Villa here? I don't know. Yolanda Garcia, right there. Yeah. And what about Crucito? Crucito. I want to acknowledge you especially. Yeah. He has been coming to my office many times uninvited. So I remember. Well, nice to see you again. So I have such good memories of all of you, and also we have professors. I don't know if our chairman of the Chicano studies here, Gerardo, Adena, I don't know if you're here today. And also I remember the time we recruited Maria to come to become the Chicano department chair. Also Ralph Umbruster right there. All these faculty members were there. So I can just keep going on to acknowledge. Also, I just want to, last acknowledgement is very special to our student, Yaneli. We spent the time together. And also Lorena, Damaris, and Shariar. Yeah, I want to acknowledge you for the work you do. And when you go inside, I got to tell you, this is a sound structure. If there's a major earthquake, this place still will hold safely. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, did we have that last statement on video so that we could show the future people that in 50 years? All right, do any of y'all have like experiences that y'all want to share? We have a couple minutes to... Minal!
I'm very terrified because there's so many people and I haven't prepared anything. But hi, my name is Minal Habash. I am a diasporic Palestinian, and El Centro is one of the first places in my entire life where I didn't feel scared to tell people that. Being Palestinian means that a lot of times the spaces that I have, the spaces that I go to, I have to hide parts of myself. And El Centro is one of the first places in my entire life where I didn't have to hide anything. And I really want to commend everyone who has been here in the past and who is here now for providing that space. I remember the first time I walked in, and I remember everyone just smiling at me and supporting me. I remember the first time I went through divestment, and I had to sit and go through like hundreds of people who were telling me over and over that people like me don't matter. And I remember coming back to El Centro and standing in a huge circle and having everyone sit there and support me. People who I didn't even know staying there and staying and saying that we are there for each other. And that's what El Centro means to me, is it's a place of solidarity. It's a place where we can stand with each other, fight for each other, work with each other, instead of being split up and trying to fight for our various movements alone, because none of us can do this alone. Something that I keep remembering every time I think about El Centro and the spaces that I've been a part of is a quote by Assata Shakur. I'm going to pull it up so I make sure I don't screw it up. Sorry. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love and support each other. We have nothing to lose but our chains. We have nothing to lose but our chains. And I really, really commend everyone here. This is a fight that we won. A fight that I didn't think we were gonna win a year ago. I remember the first meeting we had where there was like 50 of us in this big room what should not have 50 people, and all of us just sitting there frustrated out of our minds because the place that we called home was going to be taken away from us without even a second for us to say anything. And we kept fighting, and we kept fighting, and every argument that we had about the silliest things, like if we should have a library or a kitchen, all of those arguments meant something because all of us cared so much about this space, and we won. And I want everyone to remember we won a fight today. And it's not just a fight for Chicanx and Latinx students, but a fight for people like me. This space is home not just for those people, but for everyone who wants to fight. And I want everyone to remember that. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Do you want me to adjust this for you?
It's okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. My name is LaDante King. I am an alum of UCSB 2001. I came here today I needed to be here to just say thank you to the students who all fought for this space, for El Centro. I was very active on campus, and EOP was very, very dear to me. Ozzy, was definitely one of my mentors as a student here. And the thing that was so special about El Centro for me, I'm born and raised in Southern California, born in Compton, grew up in Carson. My upbringing, and I share with students and share when I speak, I came from a space where black and brown did not mix, I did not understand that there were other nationalities and other ethnicities within the Chicano Latino culture other than Mexican, right? To me, where I came from, everyone was Mexican and we did not get along. It wasn't until I came here that I saw other ethnicities, other peoples, and understood the beauty of La Familia, And one of the things that was so special about this place is that in my 4th year here, my parents started to go through a divorce and were going through a divorce. And not a lot of people knew about it at the time. But my counselor, Ms. Jeanette Padilla, and I don't know if she is here. Hello. I was so hoping you were going to be here. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. That woman right there, she was so instrumental for me and helped me get through the most difficult time in my life when my parents were going through a divorce. And her office was here in this building. And I would come over here probably at least once a week into the back of El Centro. And she helped me be able to navigate this place. And not a lot of people knew. She helped me be able to speak and to share my feelings and to be able to share what I didn't know. And she helped me be able to find what I did need to know. It was so important what that woman did for me here. And I'm so eternally grateful for EOP, for this building. And when I heard last year that this building had an eviction notice, and to hear on the outskirts, even though I'm here on campus, to hear all the work that you all were doing, students, it just warmed my heart. And please know that you had so many people in the administration here. I know that sometimes it seems like administration is not on your side, but there's folks who are definitely supporting you. And so thank you for the work, the time, the effort, the blood, the sweat, tears that you all put in here. The fights you had, thank you, because you were fighting for students. You were fighting for students for the future and for the past. And I personally needed to just come and say thank you for that. Dr. Padilla, thank you. EOP, thank you. Ozzy, thank you. And so appreciate you all having this space and that this is going to continue for students. I appreciate you.
Hello, everyone. Beautiful day, even though California is usually schizophrenic. I have the pleasure of having developed a friendship with Arnulfo's niece, Surya. I am not an alumni of USB. I'm a Trojan, Matador, or whatever. But what you need to understand is the historical significance of what's going on here today. I'm that person from the future who's mixed with everything, indigenous, African, Latin. They don't know what the hell to call me, okay? But this is what you can call me today. You can call me grateful to be here to honor those that came before us and made sacrifices for us to be able to do what we did today. It didn't just make a difference for USB Santa Barbara. It made a difference for every every college in the Cal State system has EOP. Community colleges have EOP. They have a place to go. We have a place where we can be ourselves and we can express what we feel without having to be censored with the double, how you say, consciousness that we practice usually when we interact with the system. So I think that we need to acknowledge that. I think we need to appreciate that and understand it just didn't happen for Santa Barbara. Because of what these people did, there are students who are like me and like all of these other students that didn't feel like they had a place that they could fit in, that have a place they fit today.
Okay, so next is Andre. Oh, I'll just
Okay. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing today? My name is Andres. My gender pronouns are they, them, theirs, or she, her, ella. I just want to say my experience with El Centro, I'm an alumni that graduated in 2015, and I stuck around for a little bit later. And I just want to say, as already being a person of color and coming from a Mexican background, I thought it was really difficult. And I was sitting there and I was like, well, what else can also be really difficult in my life? And then life kind of threw, hey, you're queer too. And I was like, damn it, okay, gotta deal with that too. So not only do I, feel comfortable in some spaces of color because machismo and misogyny are a thing, I came into El Centro and realized that for the very first time, I also had other Mexican friends who accepted me for who I am. And that was mind-blowing, growing up very isolated within your own culture, within raza that's supposed to be united, but we're still divided in certain things, right? And so I guess why I'm so grateful for this is because this place comes from a very deep place that it's kind of hard to talk about, but I want to reduce the stigma of the way we talk about mental health, where for a lot of us in our culture, it's hard to seek those services. It's hard to explain that there's something going wrong with you. It's hard to go to CAPS because it's so stigmatized of like, I have to seek services. But this place is what really saved my life. This place is what really helped me through my mental illness and made me pursue the passions that I want to do. And I think about the Shumash elder and what he told us on how women have primarily been in this space doing the work. Female energy has been taking over this space. And thanks to these mujeres, I was able to thrive because of their power, because of their magic, because of their individuality. So thank you to all the mujeres that really had a powerful impact within my life in these spaces, because without them, I don't know where I would have been. So that being said, I guess my little small contribution is I was part of Mesa Directiva, and those Centro meetings last a while and we get thirsty, right? I mean, shoot. And so with something that I noticed is, because a lot of us, with food scarcity and whatnot, we have the sopa maruchans, you know what I'm talking about, right? The struggle food. And so I was like, I know all the 20 flavors, including the turkey one for Thanksgiving. So me and my partner, I got to meet my partner here, and they're amazing and beautiful. I don't know what I would have done without them. We were like, well, what can we do? I came in and I couldn't make my sopa maruchan because I had no agua. I was like, well, what do I do? And then I was like, I don't want to go to that side because it's late at night, and you know what happens late at night on this campus is it's really intense. And so I was like, okay, the closest thing, because the library, that side is closed, or before the construction, we had to go all the way to South Hall. So we would lug 2 5-gallon waters, lift them up, and have the water, the chorrito, just go in there for like half an hour, kind of struggle in, and then like replace the water just so we could have water in El Centro. And so that was one of the things that we really advocated for, and that kind of aspect of familia, because I think one of the best things that I've gotten in here is the sharing a space with presence, with food, with water, and those kind of natural resources kind of go back to Mother Earth and how that's sacred for all of us in. So I really want to take the leaders in El Congreso, Ozzy, my like life coach, counselor who helped me out through this, Marcus, Matias, I don't know if he's here, but he definitely helped me out as well. And so thank you so much, El Centro, Las Mujeres, EOP, and the folks that helped me through my experience here. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna have to move on soon, so I'll have Crucito and then Margaret. Did you want to say something? Okay, so Crucito and Margaret, and then we'll move on.
Muchas gracias. Buenas tardes, good afternoon, Kwali Yowali, which means good afternoon. Buenas tardes. At this moment, we do not come to work for the university, comma mark, but to demand that the university work for our people. The emblem of Oakland, 1969, first edition of El Plan de Santa Barbara. This past April 11th, 12th, and 13th marked the 49th year of El Plan de Santa Barbara. Also, the Black American struggle, the Black movement struggle, also here on campus, was alive simultaneously in '68. Right now, I'm going to give a moment of silence for Don Luis Leal. Que viva Don Luis Leal. Don Luis Leal was instrumental. He was a pinnacle. He transferred from Chicago Urbanas as a professor in 1975-77 over here to UCSB, retired at 65, discriminated at 65 and said, no, you can't work here no more. He came over here and revolutionized, evolutionized our Department of Chicano Studies. To all the profesores y profesoras, muchas gracias que están aquí presentes. I'm an EOPS student from Santa Barbara City College. I was a machista. Que paz descanse John Diaz and all my EOPS counselors at Chicano EOP allá. And Chicano EOP over here. Everybody here también. I'm a product that matriculated. In '99, I was a congresista. Political science and Chicano studies, a good duality. I ran for city council 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15. I lost. However, I sued them in 9 because they disqualified me in 7. I read all law, so I went in pro per, and I won. And 11 and 13, I realized Juan Guadalupe Avila, professor at University of Seattle, wrote the California Voting Rights Act, Election Code 14,026. When I learned that they discriminated against me because they didn't allow me to participate at Santa Barbara City Council races. Cubo. The power of the pen is powerful. The intelligence of our thought is powerful. The thought that the students corrected the adults in a democratic system, that's how democracy should work. In the narrative, yeah, they're antagonists, cabrones. But the students gave life and realized how important this was. You know? Chancellor Henry T. Yang, Henry Su, T-Z-U, Yang, for father. He's always been impeccable. When I go uninvited, todavía me acepta. He always accepts me. I go uninvited, Chancellor, and he always accepts me. Dilly, thank you. Thank you, Dilly, for supporting your man and him supporting you. Gracias. They've had conversations with Don Luis and Gladys that they've been so impeccable. I've always supported. In the 30th anniversary of anniversary, I was the chair of Congreso in '99, back in the millennium. And in the back in the millennium, he helped us. The students helped us for the 30th and in the 40th. Remember, gente, 2019 is coming for the 50th, so we can do a bigger thing. Recuerden, this was born here in our campus. The 3rd edition is coming. UCSB has the copyright ownership for the 3rd edition for my work. One time, órale. El Centro power, because this is multicultural, because the space is not just Chicano, Latino, X, it's everybody's. Recuerden, pero who started the pleito? Raza, Chicanos, okay? It's history.
Good afternoon. I'm Margaret Cluone, the Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs. What an important day for UCSB. I am honored to stand here on this Chumash land and blessed to be here with the Casillas family and all of you celebrating the reopening, the restoration of El Centro Arnulfo Casillas. What a fabulous, fabulous day. Sometimes when you're lucky, you're honored to learn something from your students. And I want to thank Lorena, Yaneli, Damaris, Shariar, Cecilia, and others who are there today for what you taught us and what you showed us in terms of the power and the importance of this place and what was important for UCSB. I also want to thank Maricela and Lupe Navarro Garcia for the hours they put in on this project. And Ernie and Rosa for their work making sure that this came to fruition. You are leaving here, and I want to say this to the students, but I also want to acknowledge that we are standing on a very important tradition, and that all of you who are here have given something important, and it's been so moving to hear the stories, and Manal, your words earlier about the importance of this space. But I want to say something about what you're leaving for us. We are keeping the doors open, and you are bringing something back to life, bringing EAOP, and I want to thank Britt and EAOP and EOP and the new services that we're providing here for CAPS. We are doing something very powerful, and it's because of you and what you showed us and what you taught us, and I want to thank all of you for the work that you did, and I'm so glad that you can all be here and join us in this really important celebration and this historic moment for UCSB. Thank you.
So at this time, I wanted to point out, I don't know if all of y'all know, but we have a time capsule in the back that we're gonna bury and then open in, I think it's like 50 years or something. And so I want to invite, some people have been mailing in photographs and stuff from their experiences here at El Centro, but I want to go ahead and invite, if anyone brought pictures and stuff, to go ahead and take it to the time capsule. My contribution is when Chancellor Ying came in and was like, hey, this doesn't have to be shut down, we hand wrote on like a piece of notebook paper that I happen to have a contract that they wouldn't tear it down, and then it was signed by Henry Yang, Mark Fisher, Maricela, Margaret, Lupe, and then the students that were present. So like me, Cecilia, Dulce, Lorena, Shariar, and Jessica. And so that's my contribution and like some notes. But yeah, I just want to like remind everyone we have a time capsule and to please take stuff because it's things special to you.
I'll just, I think I can carry it. There you go. Is that gonna fall? Okay. At this time, I want to invite, Yaneli, stay up here. Everyone, Dulce, Daniela, Manal, everyone that was a part of this, can y'all come up here, please? Everyone, Damaris, everybody. Stephanie, everybody. Jessica, I see you. Everyone. These are the folks that helped hold it down last year and made sure that El Centro stayed. And up next is the ribbon cutting, and I want y'all to stay up here so we can do it together, if that's cool. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but let's do it. So I don't know how we're gonna cut it. Okay. Where are they? Nice. Okay, I don't know how we're gonna do this, but let's share these. I don't. Yeah. Here. Okay. Let's take it. Wait, where are the scissors? Come on in. And so to close the space, we have Fabian Pavon that's going to lead us in a unity clap. Sorry, I got excited.
Hello, everybody. My name is Fabian Pavon. I'm the Chicano Latinx Cultural Resource Center peer mentor for EOP, and I am also a congresista. Now, thank you so much, Crucito, for warming us up earlier. Now, if y'all could please join me in the unity clap. The unity clap stems from the farm workers movement in the 60s. In the 60s, there was a language barrier between the farm workers that organized the movement. And there was Filipino farm workers, and there was Chicanx, Latinx farm workers. There was a language barrier between both of those workers, between all of those workers. However, with the unity clap, that was a sound that we can make together. The unity clap starts off slow, and then it gets faster and faster and faster, and it's supposed to resemble a heartbeat. Because it doesn't matter what color you are, it doesn't matter where you come from, we all have this heartbeat that makes us human, it makes us feel, it makes us the same. And at the end, we say, Iksang Baksak, which is Tagala, for one rise, one fall. Iksang Baksak! ¡Que viva el centro!